Hello, everyone. So I wanted to teach folks the Yang family martial arts salute. I want to first say that you don't have to do the salute. We do the salute at the beginning and the end of every class, but we basically are doing it in order to welcome ourselves into class, to show our respect for the class and for each other. And there are lots of ways to do that, right? You basically are ready, you're attentive, maybe you wave, maybe you nod. So don't feel at all compelled to do the martial arts salute. That is not essential. But I thought I would show it to you. It's an important part of Yang family Tai Chi. It is very similar to the other martial arts salutes. It only, as far as I know, has one little change with it. So, and it has two hand shapes in it, two hand shapes. So the hand shapes that we're going to cover are the fist, and actually I'm going to put this on for just a second. As I said, before, when it is essential for you to know which hand is right and which hand is left, I'll give you a little help. So the right arm is always the arm that has a colored sleeve. So when you see a decorated arm, that's the right arm. And what you're going to do is make a fist with your right hand. Nice. Now let's look at how you make the fist. So you start with a hand, right? Like a high five. You start with a high five hand. And you let your, just kind of roll down your fingers, roll them down, and then put your thumb across. If you know American Sign Language, I understand that's an S. So if you know that, just make an S.
Good to know.
That's our fist. All right. These, I'll just tell you a little bit about the fist. We talk about, the whole is the fist eye. Okay. The whole is the fist eye. When we make our fist, we try, but not all of us can do it, to keep a flat surface right here. Flat surface, so we're not like sticking out a knuckle or anything. If we're going to use one knuckle for something, we're probably going to use a knuckle up here, something like that. There is one technique that uses a knuckle like that. But basically, mine don't quite line up. You get old hands. You get old hands and they don't always do what you want them to do, right? This is our fist. This is our fist. This, on the other hand, is what we call the palm. It does lots of different things. Sometimes it's that beautiful cloud hands kind of, coming across and turning. And, we call this the tiger's mouth, just so you know. It's kind of always hungry. That's because when you're actually remember we were carrying a butterfly last time on our arm and it was walking up and then we were changing its view. But you could also imagine that you're connecting this arm with somebody else's arm, grabbing and pulling them down, right? Tiger's mouth is hungry to grab. Okay, so that's the tiger's mouth. So this is the tiger's mouth. This is our palm. It can be in many, many positions. It can be sitting like this. It can be standing like this. It can be, very, very erect. It can be cocked like this. There's lots of, we call this sitting, ways it can sit. And it can have different places that you're focusing your attention on and your energy. So for example, if you were, striking out, you might be striking with this part right here. You don't have to learn any of that right now. Nice, Nancy. Yes, nice. I see some nice hands coming out. But I want to just talk about the palm hand itself because it's always there. It's always, always there. Okay. So when we talk about that palm hand, I want you to do this to get this nice hand. All right. So first, I want you to sort of stretch. If you don't do anything that hurts, remember that 70% rule. Stretch, 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 and relax. Where you relax to, that's it. It should be slightly curved. See that? You didn't make a curve. It happened naturally when you relaxed. Now, some of us relax and one finger goes one way, something goes the other way. Don't worry about it. That's just the way your hand is at this point, right? But this is the hand. It always looks like that. So whatever we're doing in Yang Family Tai Chi, it always looks like that. You aren't changing the hand. This can be hard because sometimes you're saying, oh, I'm grabbing. You're thinking you're grabbing. And as we've already found out, right? We found that out with the butterfly last week, right? What we found out is that when we imagine something, it actually changes what we do, right? But if you can, when you're imagining, we just want this hand. So we're going to make a fist with our right hand. We're going to take a palm hand. We're going to put the fist in our palm like this. And then we're going to take this thumb that's hanging out here and we're actually going to change it. We're going to come down and cover, you see that? Cover the eye. And that's for humility. And that's where we differ from some of the others. Not because they don't also have humility, but just because that's how we do the salute. We always just do it covering up this fist eye. All right. So let's try it. We usually bring our feet together. We bring our feet together. We stand very straight. We bring our arms up, make our fist, and push forward just a little bit. Nice, lovely. So that's our salute. Any questions? You have learned 2 of the hand positions, and there are basically three hand positions.
I have a question you may not be able to answer. Do you know why Yang Family pushes forward?
I don't know that I am not going to say that Yang Family necessarily pushes forward. I push forward.
Okay. I know Nancy, well, and I know Nancy does.
Okay. It's probably, whatever your teachers do, you do. And it feels like you're doing something, right? Like when is the moment when you've done it and you've finished? And for me, I need that little push forward. That's all I can say. That's a very personal thing.
Okay.
I do not know. That's a good question. We should ask it.
Yeah.
I was taught to bow slightly. I noticed Nancy doesn't bow slightly, but just a slight bow. I do believe that Neil did Sun Family as well, or Sun Style. So it may be that he picked that up from there. But yeah, I was taught to bow just slightly.
Well,
okay.
and I was going to, and I'll add to that, my Yang Style teacher, which is not Yang Family, his explanation was that we only bow if we have pictures of the ancestors behind us, because we bow to the ancestors, but otherwise they don't bow. So we bow in their studio because his lineage is there.
Indeed, indeed.
Which I thought was an interesting addition.
That's an interesting addition, Donna. Great. And we're setting a precedent here for folks who know things to offer to share. And that's a really wonderful thing in this class. So thank you very much for all that sharing. Anything else about the salute? Are we good?
Great.
All right. Let's warm up. We're going to warm up differently. Last time we were doing a lot of walking. This time I would like us to stand kind of in that prepare position. We're going to do more later. but just stand in that prepared position first, and we're going to warm up with Master Yang's wellness exercises, and then we'll do some others. So what we're going to do is moving with the waves, which is a lot like opening, which we did last time. We're going to sink as we come down and then come up. Just imagine your hands, your arms are floating on the water, sinking as we go down and up and sink. I'm going to turn to the side and up and upper arms, middle arms, hands. When you come down. And maybe you want to coordinate your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to come up and out and in. Now this time we're going to be the birds. This is rock spreads its wings. So feel the air through your wing feathers. And again, when you come in, we're coming up and down. When you come in, feel it first in your upper arms, powering those wings, and your back, upper arms, middle arms, wrists. Open. Elbows are down. Sink those shoulders. Nice. Nice. And now it's a giant West Coast tree. This is different, right? It's sinking. I mean, you're sinking. I'm sorry, it's shrinking. So now it's just a circle. I want you to feel that circle on your whole back. So this is not one of Master Yang's exercises. This is one of ours. You can continue to breathe with it, but never, ever is it straight. It's one continuous circle. So you can actually feel that tree growing if you want. I want you to feel the connection across your back. Everything is connected from your back, center, all the way to your fingertips. Nice, looking really good. And now we're going to turn our palms over and stand up as we push down. And we're going to rotate our arms, lift them, gaze up at the moon, stopping kind of right here where we're, so that our shoulders don't get much above. And we're going to bend at the elbows and push down. Nice. And again, gaze up at the moon. Arms come over and push down. Oh, nice. Gazing up at the moon. We're straightening our legs as we do this. Nice. Maybe inhaling as we go up. And our gaze is going to come down level. And then as we go, our arms go up above our gaze, we look up at the moon, and then our gaze comes down. One more. Nice, lovely. Great. Welcome, Yali. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Didi. Sorry a bit late because someone was cutting down a dead tree from our property.
Oh my goodness. I am sorry that happened.
No, that's something we wanted to do. So
good. You got it done. Sounds very good. All right. What I want to do now is, because we're going to be doing a lot of footwork, because that's part of the curriculum for this class. And what I want to do is I want to go over foot bumps. I don't think we did, not foot bumps, knee bumps. There is no such exercise as knee bumps except for me. Okay, so this is not an official Yang family thing. This is, I want you to first start by just jiggling. Just sort of jiggle, soft knees, head up, aligned. You folks look really great, really great. Okay, now you can stop jiggling, but I want you to have a gorilla lower back. Do you remember how we so you can jiggle or not, but I want this gorilla lower back. So instead of, I don't want you jiggling like this, right? I want you jiggling so that your hips are really falling when you jiggle. You got that? So you do that by that sort of, we went over this last time, you're gonna like almost sit in a chair, right? But the other thing you can do is just decide you're a gorilla. And that works really, really well right now when you're jiggling, right? Being a gorilla, right? So that's really good. So what I want to do, what I want you to do, is I want you to sort of jiggle, get into that gorilla stance. You've got these soft knees, and I want you to be having your legs parallel, your knees in line with your toes, right? And feet flat on the ground, and you're just solid, right? You got that solid. Now, what I want you to do is we're kind of going to end up dancing shortly, but we're going to be moving a little to one side. Don't need this anymore because it doesn't matter. Okay. We're going to be, so you can mirror me if you want. We're going to be moving to a little to the side, thinking about putting the weight that's in this leg. There'll be a little less weight in this leg, and you can mirror me if you want. We're going to put it in the heel so we can pivot it. Okay, so it's going to pivot. But I want you to go ahead and put your arm on the leg you're going to move on the front of your thigh, and I want you to turn it out. You see how it's turning to the corner? And we're pivoting. We're pivoting 45 degrees, and then we're going to come back. Now, what I'd like you to do is bump every time. Do you see how I bumped? Bump back, bump out, bump back. If this hurts your knees, don't do it, right? You can just turn out and turn back, right? And you could go, you could dance this, right? Yeah, why not, right? Now, what are we doing? We're turning our toes out, but notice what we're really doing is we're opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. And what do I mean by that? We're pulling it. This one's staying right here, right? This one's going out. So let's switch sides now. How do we switch sides? We get our weight, our feet back in that same position, shoulder width apart, really grounded. Remember, we jiggled down, we got our gorilla on so that we're with soft knees and our spine is absolutely straight coming down. And we're going to shift our Tai Chi pole, I call it, over here, which actually I got from Kelly. It's one of our teachers. Beautiful thing. And it's not going to be all the way over there because I want a little bit weight, but it's not centered anymore. Thinking about my heel pad area, And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Out, bump, in, bump, out, bump, in, bump. You can do it at your own pace. Whenever you put your foot out, you want to be opening, remember? Open here, close here, open here, close here, open here, close here. There's a few positions we get into Tai Chi, and again, you can just dance it, right? You're opening that hip. You're opening the joint in your hip. Yes, Erlyn.
How much weight are you shifting in this particular exercise?
The only reason I'm shifting weight over to one side is so that I have less, so it's easier to turn that foot. I could have most of it over here, but I'm shifting, I don't know, there's maybe 20% on the other side, on this side. That's what I'm doing. Do what feels comfortable to you. Make sense? All right, so let's just do it again. I want you to do this because what we're doing is we are training what? We're training ourselves to be conscious of opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing. And it's just like a dance move in this case, right? I mean, why not have some Tai Chi? Shift over, have some fun with it, you know, right? Notice what we're not doing is something like this. And I don't want you to do this. I'm the only one who can do this, all right? What we're not doing is putting our foot out and not opening. You see that? Because what happens if I do that? My knee is hanging out here, way over here, and my foot is over there. And if I go to put my weight on it that way, that's not good structurally, right? So very, very important that you train your body. When you turn out a foot, you are probably turning this out, but you really need to have your knee and your toes going in the same direction. Everybody clear on that? This is another safety thing. Yes, yes, wonderful. All right, knee bumps, practice them at home. Did anybody practice going around their house? I don't remember if it was this class. I think it was this class that I said I would ask you that was homework, that you should keep your head up. Yeah, keep your head up for the week. Anyone do that? If you didn't do it this week, keep your head up, especially when you're making coffee. Just do that. When you're making coffee or tea or whatever, keep your head up. Keep your head up while you're in that whole area if you can. Just head up. And we're going to go through that now. We're going to go through prepare again so that we have, we're going to do it a little fast, but I want to suggest, I'm going to say a bunch of images. You pick the image you like, or you tell me afterwards that you found another image that you like. And I'll write that down and we'll all get a bunch of images for how to get into prepare, which is our starting position. That centers all of our body, okay? So we still want to do that. So in prepare, we start as we did before, shoulder width apart. We center our spine. What's a good way to do that? Well, first, feel your feet and feel your head. I want your head up. Images, bubblehead, a vacuum above our head. Maybe a golden cord coming from the heavens, joining you. Long necks, long necks. Your feet are grounded. Your lower body is heavy. Your upper body is light. Maybe some of that bubble head is coming into the rest of your upper body. So now your shoulders are down, but that's because you're like hanging on a coat hanger. Beautiful. Hang on a coat hanger. Just your head is up. Your lower body is heavy. You're hanging on a coat hanger and little tiny weights maybe on the fingertips so that your arms are hanging. Now, about this time, I realize, I'm going to turn, you don't have to. I realize that I'm in a good position, but I've stretched so much in my spine that I've also stretched my legs. Well, that's good, but now my legs are almost locked, and so seems to be my lower back. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about sitting on a bar stool. So reach for that bar stool. You can even actually go to sit on it, like really, really go to sit on it. Where's that bar stool? Where's that bar stool? But don't sit on it. Now, what I want you to do is little by little, so try that a couple of times, sitting on that bar stool. Like, where's that bar stool? Reach for it, reach for it. You want to feel it underneath your butt. That will lengthen your lower spine. Try it again, and this time, try to find that moment when your knees are just barely bent and you've just started to reach, and it kind of unlocks your lower spine. Nice. Looking really good. Really good. Now, keep all that. I want you to sort of screw your legs, not just your feet. Your feet and your legs are heavy, your upper body is light. You're going to kind of screw them into the floor, but you're not moving them. You just feel increased contact with the floor. And it starts all the way, I don't know, like at that knee bump area, right? But you're not tight. This is prepare. You folks look fabulous. How did that feel? You can stop now. Yeah, good. Anyone come up with some other images for us? If you think of other images, let me know. All right. Oh, Sue. Yes, Sue.
I often like to think that I'm like a puppet on a string, so that holds my head up, but the rest of my body's like, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. I've done that too. Yes. Yes. Perfect. That's great. Puppet on a string. I will try to remember that. You can send me an email too if I don't put it on the list. Wonderful. All right. So, Erlyn.
I just wanted to ask about the arms hanging straight down, because if you want to get your fingertips kind of like centered on your thigh, then I have a tendency to, when I'm like feeling like I'm on a hanger, like all drapey on a hanger, I have a tendency to have my fingertips naturally land towards the front of my thigh. So it's like, are you supposed to have effort in getting your fingertips to the middle of your thigh?
So no, but I would look to your spine. I would look to either your lower, you might be tipped a little.
Right.
And it's all right to be tipped a little, but it should be counteracted by, at different times we do tip a little, like if we've gone low in particular, right?
Yeah.
If we've gone low, we tip a little, but your arms should still be hanging right down towards your feet. They shouldn't be hanging in the front. So I'm thinking if they're like this, if they're like this, somehow you're not
Right.
compensating for it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's helpful.
Can I say something there, Dee Dee?
Sure.
My Qigong master says you have your fingers facing palms back and your little fingers to the outside because it opens up the heart meridian for Qigong. And Tai Chi is hands in because you're more martially hands in coming for a punch. So
got it.
Just
okay.
Just an add-on.
So different ways to be in prepared depending on what you're doing. But since we're doing Tai Chi and we're doing Yang Family Tai Chi, we will do it that way at this point. Wonderful. All right. I think we should invent the bow step. How about you? So let's I'm going to toss you some things. I want you to just be moving around, okay? Just be moving around your space. Make sure you're safe. You know, we have that rule. Check your space. I've been kind of checking everybody's spaces. They look good. Okay, I'm going to throw you some stuff. So you ready? Here's kind of like a soccer ball. How about that? I'm just going to throw you. I know you don't throw soccer balls, but here's a catch it. You got to be moving. All right, so everybody's standing there. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna throw it to you. Oh, it's handball. Anybody watch the Olympics? It's handball. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Catch it. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, Nancy's coming around. Throw it back, Nancy. Throw it back. Oh, I'll get it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And here's another one. Oh, perfect. All right. I've got a bow. Did you see archery? I've got a bow. I've got a bow here, and here's an arrow. Catch it, catch it, catch it. Put it in your quiver, whatever. You gotta get okay. Here, catch another one. You get one out of my quiver. I guess they're back here. Here you go. There's another one. Oh, great, wonderful. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Now I'm gonna throw you the bow. You're gonna have your, don't worry about putting your arrow in. Magically, an arrow is going to appear on your bow. I'm going to throw you a bow. You are going to like go for the corner and shoot. So right now, pick a thing you're going to be shooting at in your space. Okay? Sort of off to the corner, whatever, somewhere. All right, you ready? So I'm going to throw this. Here comes your bow. Here comes your bow. Catch it and shoot. All right, great, perfect. Now we're going to make it a little harder. You're on gravel, okay? Here we go. Here we go. Here comes your bow. Grab it, catch it, and shoot. Fabulous. Okay, you don't have to look at me. You should look at where you're shooting for that. Okay, but it's all right if you do. All right, now, what were we? We're on gravel, right? You got that? I want you to think of a very gravelly place, a mountaintop, whatever, a little uneven. And, oh, let's make it interesting. It's really windy. I mean, it's like a gale. I was up at Hadrian's Wall once in a gale. It was amazing. And the eye went right over us and it was beautiful, and then it wasn't again, all right? So here it comes. It's going to be a gale. All right, grab it. I know it's windy. Pick it, do it, shoot, and stop. Don't move. Don't move. Put your hands down. Look at your feet. Answer the following questions. Are your feet parallel? Anybody have parallel feet?
Parallel, yes. Even, no.
Okay, one foot's in front of the other. So how many people with parallel feet and how many people without parallel feet?
Parallel.
How many people with not parallel feet? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So I know you had parallel feet. Some of you had parallel feet. Okay. Some people had parallel feet. Some people did not have parallel feet. Okay, so let's do it again. Don't think about your feet. Think about the windy, uneven terrain. Windy, uneven terrain. Ready? Here you go. Ready, 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 ready. Move, move. Grab it. You have to run over, get it. Stop, go. Be stable. All right, look down at your feet. Your feet still parallel? Anybody have parallel feet? One person has parallel feet. Two people have parallel feet. Okay, so the vast majority don't have parallel feet, which is interesting. Did you observe anything else? Did you, oh, here, let's do one more. How about this? I'm going to throw it to you again. Throw it to you again. Catch it. It's an earthquake. All right. It's an earthquake. What happened now?
Same thing.
Same thing?
For me,
did your knees bend? Did
I
any
always,
of your...
I always have one foot ahead of the other because it's steadier than...
Yes, one foot's going to be ahead of the other.
They're
okay.
parallel, but one ahead of the other. And
okay,
yeah,
so some of you have parallel feet, some of you don't have parallel feet. Did anybody bend their knees?
A little bit.
A lot of people bent their knees, at least a little bit.
Moving with the earthquake.
Yeah. Or have you ever, I do this thing where I stand on the trains in the airports, you know, and I try not to hold on. I like right. It's like my game that I play.
Balance, yep.
And I balance, and I always end up in some position.
That was
like
just
this.
me.
All right. So anything else we noticed? So some people's feet were parallel and some people's feet were not. I think there were more people with not, but it's a personal thing. People's feet were, one was in front of another, right? With some of them, they weren't like right like this, right? So they could be parallel like this, or they could be not parallel like this, right? Or like this, right? You might have seen it a variety of ways, but they're not like pointing in the same direction if you're not parallel. Okay. So, and how about knees? Were you very straight? Were your knees bent? Your knees were bent. I'm seeing a lot of my knees were bent.
A little bit.
Yeah. You were, and did you feel like your center of gravity went down when you were on that earthquake? Right?
Yeah, you rooted more.
You rooted more. Yeah, that's a Tai Chi term. Yeah.
Holding on to the ground.
Yes, exactly. So that uneven terrain, and I realized that we're doing so many things at once that keeping that gale in your mind or the uneven terrain is really, really hard. But mostly, an earthquake will do it. Lynn, yes.
So there was a really big difference between the gale and the earthquake, because during the gale, my feet were parallel because I was imagining a force coming from a specific direction. I was much more locked up. And with the earthquake, my feet were not parallel because I was thinking about any motion coming from, and also I was a lot more liquidy. It's like my knees were not locked up against it. It's like I was ready to like move and respond, right?
Very cool. So in the earthquake, let's just do an earthquake for a minute. Earthquake, right? You do want agility, right?
A lot more weight shift.
A lot of, and you're testing it, right? You're really testing that you're solid, and you're also testing your agility. And you have this issue of directions. Wonderful for Lynn. Terrific. Okay, so it turns out that the bow step is designed for this. So the bow step has 1 foot at an angle and 1 foot, everybody can see my feet, right? I'm just going to do it in a real straight direction, and then I'll turn it for you. So I've got 1 foot going. First of all, my heels are shoulder width apart. My lines are like railroad tracks here, and they are my shoulder width apart. Okay. So in our bow step, we have 1 foot at an angle. It turns out it's most of the time it's 45 degrees. And then we have one leg that the heels are still shoulder width apart, but they are but now my foot is going straight. So here's straight and straight, and here's 45 degrees. It turns out if I was going to the corner and I moved everything 45 degrees, right here, so here are my railroad tracks. If they go off to the corner, do you see how they're parallel now, going off to the corner? But I turn my foot 45 degrees, and I were to look down at them, they'd look kind of like this. So you might have seen something like that when you look down, like, oh, one was in front of the other and one was turned a little bit. Or you might have seen something that looked like this. They weren't really parallel, right? Those are all very close to a bow step. So why would we want something like that? Anyone have any idea? Well, I think Erlyn basically touched on it earlier. She said her body went into that position when she needed to be agile. She needed to be able to, oh my gosh, move all around. But she also needed that wind. If the wind was coming in one direction, she was going to set herself up differently. But if it was gusty wind, which was what I had on my mountaintop, and which I'll make sure I put in the future if we do something like that, it's gusty wind or it's an earthquake, you need it coming from all sorts of directions. So let's think about the directions that work and don't. So something's coming at me this way. So put yourself in a position like this, one straight, you're about there, they were shoulder width apart, remember? You put one forward in a comfortable way, doesn't matter how far, and one to the side. And then you can bend your front one more than your back one. We'll get to that. So, and there's more to this, but we'll just start here. So get yourself in that position. Feel the ground, right? That earthquakeness. Now, if you had to push forward or someone pushed on you, do you think you could resist it? How would you be resisting it if someone's pushing against your hands like here? How would you resist it? Is there a particular foot you'd use, or you'd sink? Nancy says she'd sink, that might help. So sinking, being lower makes you feel stronger. That's true. Remember, you see how I've opened up here? So my knee's in line with my toe, by the way. So everybody should check that. Thank you. And here's the thing. I can use my back leg here to resist something coming here. I can use my front leg and push back with my front leg, right? From here. Pretty good. Something come from this side, I can use this leg. This one's not quite as good, right? But this leg has an angle to it, and I can kind of do it from here. And this way, again, I have part of this foot and I can adjust my weight, right? Feel these things. Where are we weak? We're weak here. Give it a try. Somebody pulls your arm here, you're going to fall. Similarly, back here, you have nothing. But if you were completely parallel, it would be a lot harder because you wouldn't have that extra help that having one straight and one at a corner gives you. So of all the sort of 8 directions that you could have right here, we've got 6 of them at least partially covered. So the bow step turns out to be really good. And as Erlyn said earlier, she needed agility. So she needed to have the ability to be in a stance where she could move her center, right? She could move her center, she could turn. She had a lot of possibilities. And this stance gives us those possibilities. It also allows us, you make it longer apart, you make it longer apart, and you can be really, really low. Really, really low, right? Not that I could walk this way, right? So you could be really, really low. But what we say is you're never higher than you can like take it back yourself. So you make sure that when you step in, you just are stepping in. These are bad shoes because they're yellow and it kind of looks like my heel's not there, but it is. All right, let's go over some of the key points. We'll go over these again next week. Actually, about the directions, is that clear for everybody? And you got the sense that your body knows something about this, right? It really does. When in doubt, what is natural for you, if you really think about what we're trying to do, your body will know what to do. And it will put you in a position that works for your body. And so when people teach you Tai Chi, they're teaching you for the average body. Some of the things that you're taught perhaps won't work for your body as well, and you'll have to make accommodations, change it a little bit because of just the way your body is built. But in general, this works for just about all bodies. So let's go through what bow step really looks like. First of all, one foot is, I'm just going to do it this way from here. So one foot is to the left, is out 45 degrees. Your feet started parallel, one foot is out 45 degrees. Then the other foot, in order to get into it, I'm going to have to switch my Tai Chi pole. And then I always, if I'm stepping into it, do you see how it almost looks like I am stepping out, like out to the corner? Looks like I'm going to step this way, right? But in actuality, I'm going to turn, and point my toes this way. Root with my heel, as Donna said before, and then heel, ball, toe, and I'm going to bend this knee. Now, one thing I want to show you is just what it looks like. I'm going to send you a video on this. It's a Facebook video. They may ask you to sign in. You do not have to sign in. It's available for everybody. That's a really nice shows all of these points. So 45 degrees here. That's one thing to see. And you'll see this better in a minute. The back leg is straighter, naturally straight, depending on how you're positioned. And your front leg is naturally bent, but your knee never goes beyond your toes. Okay? And you are arched. That's why it's called the bow step. Or so I'm going to do this sort of sideways like I did before, because you'll see the arch better. Do you see this arch right here? I'm doing a bow step. My heels are shoulder length apart, and the back one is out, but it's to the corner, my both steps to the corner. But now you can see the arch. Making sure my knee is over my toe, my knee is in the same direction as my toe, and my knee is in the same direction as the toe. And that's coming from right here. There's an arch right here. Why an arch? It's stronger. So if I had said you had to carry something, hold something, earthquake, you might be holding something pretty precious, right? And you've got to hold it. You need an arch. Arch is going to make you stronger. Okay? So I'm going to go back here. The arch will be less easy to see, but it's still there. Still there. And now you can see my front foot, my front leg is, my knee is not going past my toe. It's not quite vertical. It's just a little past vertical. There's this nice tension between my forward leg and my back leg here. And it is naturally straight. It is not locked. It is not locked. The other thing to see is that my spine, the center of my spine, is in the center. If we put another line down here between these railroad tracks, the center is there. The center of my spine. So how's this for the bow step? Next week, we're going to go in and out of these bow steps a little bit, but I want to do one more thing with you this week, if we can. We are going to, I want you to get in a bow step. If you want, you can just kind of put your shoulder to me if you want. You've got your right foot forward maybe, if you're doing that, and your left foot, your left leg out. You're centered. Put your arms out. And I want you to be a gorilla as you go back. I want you to go back. Your front leg straightens and your back leg bends. Nice. I want you to imagine you're pushing something. You're getting ready to push. You've been in this position before. I think it's a car or something, but it's a very light car, but it's work. There's other people helping you, and you're gonna push. What happens? You're gonna really push with that back leg, and then you're gonna push with the front leg a little bit as you finish. Then we're gonna come back, relax that lower back. Relax that lower back so it can just hang down in the center. In the center. And push. And back. And push. So another thing about bow steps is, you tell me, is there weight on both of your feet? How much? When we're in the front, is it 50-50? When we're in the back, is it 50-50? Tell me what you experience. I did not hear that, so if someone said something, you're welcome to say it now. So, put your arms down and be in the middle. Be in the middle. So not here and not here, but in the middle. In the middle. That's 50-50, right? 50 in the front, 50 in the back. Both legs are bent a little. Now, straighten the front one and bend a little bit right here. And you should feel more in the back, right? More in the back. We say that's about 60% then, give or take. Push with the back, bend the front. Again, not past your toes. Back leg straightens. Maybe not all the way. Which leg is heavier now? Your front. You're going to want to be. Any questions about the bow step? We are going to do more on the bow step next week, and we are going to try moving into it, try moving within it, and try maybe even moving from bow step to bow step. We'll see how that works. Any questions on the bow step? All right. I take that as a no. All righty. We'll close class. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.